The upcoming full moon in Virgo on Friday, March 18th, encourages us to come down to earth and add structure to the visions of Pisces. Let's talk about it in more depth and break it down for each rising sign. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you'd like to book a reading with me, check out the link down below. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a comment, or hit the like button. I truly appreciate all of your support. So this full moon occurs on Friday, March 18th at 3:17 a.m. Eastern in the sign of Virgo, about 27 degrees, 28 degrees. And full moons are always a culmination, right? It's the sun opposite the moon. It's the brightest part of the lunar cycle. So whatever you have planted the seeds about, or what kind of seeds you planted back in September 6, 2021, when we had the new moon in Virgo, you will likely see those plans come full circle, those desires kind of either complete, or maybe there's a need for you to pivot and look at other ways of doing things you used to do before. We're dealing with Pisces versus Virgo energy. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Virgo, so there's that opposition and tension between the dreams of Pisces and the realism of Virgo, right? You have this vision, but do you have a plan? Faith versus facts, like, right? Pisces feels like it's enough to believe. Virgo is looking at all the facts and sometimes can be too practical, right? Like Virgo, there's that famous saying of you cannot see the forest for the trees. So Virgo can get stuck counting the trees, but Pisces can get just kind of like floating away and forgetting about reality. So in a way, this full moon has a beautiful potential to bring the two together and kind of find healthy harmony between dreaming and staying grounded. I'm also thinking of like, the visions of Pisces with Jupiter being in Pisces, kind of like the Fool card in tarot, leaping into something, but with Virgo energy coming into this equation, you want to tie a rope, right? So you're leaping, but at least you have something that's tying you to the ground. So you're trying to find that balance between taking a leap and pursuing things, but then still having some kind of backup. Make sure you're not spending all of your money, right? Make sure you have like insurance, but also try not to be too anal and analytical and too stuck in the details, trying to bring the two together. Virgo is the last sign of summer, and it's classically connected with the harvest, right? Even the symbol of the Virgo, the Virgin, has that grain, what is it? Like a grain thing in it. You know what I'm talking about, right? The word is escaping me right now. But it's the sign connected to the harvest. It's the sign connected. Why Virgo is so focused on the details? Because it's the end of the cycle. It's the end of summer. And there's that need to count everything down, prepare for the winter, gather resources. So with this full moon, you're literally looking at whether you have enough resources to help you and to last you through this journey towards your dreams, because there's a lot of beautiful new beginnings. We are in the amazing cycle of, Jupiter in Pisces, and April 12th, we got Jupiter conjunct Neptune, but it's not, it's the journey is likely to be long. So all you're focusing on making sure that you have enough, making sure that you are letting go of the habits that aren't necessary, making sure you have a plan and to-do lists and all of those kind of things, and staying patient, of course. This full moon is trining Pluto in Capricorn, and trines are harmonious aspects. Pluto always brings a sense of facing the underworld, facing the darkness, but when it is in a trine, there is a harmonious transformation. We are called to improve ourselves, to transform a part of ourselves, like I said, releasing unhealthy habits, dependencies, self-undoing behaviors. How can you, with Virgo, right? Like, how can you improve your diet? How can you drink more water? Go see your doctor, kind of like focus on all of these positive things. Mercury is the ruler of this lunation. Mercury is in Pisces at the moment. So Mercury in Pisces is great for dreaming and imagination and kind of intuitive things, but there might be a lack of focus or like a lack of attention to details. So you want to make sure that you're not floating away too hard, right? Like going back to that whole energy of being grounded. And Mercury actually at the time is also sextiling Uranus, conjoins Jupiter. So there's support. There's definitely support from spiritual Jupiter. So we're still focusing on our goals and our beliefs, but we're not, and we're being innovative. We're breaking through. We're trying to bring something new into our life while staying rational and grounded. Trying to be organized, come up with a plan, have a to-do list, put your hair up and get to work. And you can also benefit at this time from doing something kind for yourself, like going to the doctor, scheduling a massage, treating yourself, and trying to ground the anxious Virgo energy, because that's something that can show up this full moon as well. There might be just a sense of like really quick mind and thoughts running too fast, and a sense of like anxiety, like you cannot control everything. There's too many things, too many balls in the air. So do things that can help ground you. Take a bath, listen to your favorite podcast, go for a walk, spend some time in nature. Full moons always have that, like overfilled cup of coffee energy. And another important thing, Virgo is the sign of service. So this full moon focusing on giving back. And if you do get rewarded, if something is completed in your life, focus on transforming that energy and spreading it around, right? Like similarly with that energy of the harvest, you want to make sure there's enough to go around, and investing into the future, investing into people you love will bring that energy back to you. So let's talk about all 12 rising signs and see what it might mean for you. For Aries rising, this full moon occurs in your 6th house, so you can expect changes, completion, culmination in the sector of health, work, service, and pets. So health-wise, look back at what was happening with your health 6 months ago in September. Have you started a new diet? Have you started taking better care of yourself in order to get over a sickness or something? You can totally see with this full moon a change to your health, right? Like kind of if you were dealing with something, maybe now finally it's over, right? Like if you were scared about, I don't know, mole looking suspicious, now you like went to the doctor, got a biopsy, it's all great. So there might be a sense of like getting over a health issue. Releasing bad habits, I think, could be quite likely with this full moon in your 6th house, letting go of drinking too much, staying out a little bit late. You can come up with, you can try to be more structured. Maybe you're going to bed a little bit earlier. Maybe you're starting to work out every day. Definitely bringing more structure into your life can then ultimately help you get to where you're going, where maybe you're trying to find the job that you want or establish better mental health. It all starts with looking at your daily life and processing and letting go of things that are not serving you. Allowing yourself to rest more, eat healthier. Changes to the work environment are possible for Aries risings as well, as in like if you've been even like fighting with someone, a colleague, right? Maybe they get transferred to a different department, or maybe you have a conversation and you hash things out and it starts to feel better. Pets, if you have any animals, right? Maybe you've been thinking about getting a pet and now you finally get one, or if your pet has been dealing with some kind of health situation, this might be the time when they get over it. And finally, you may feel a strong pull at this time to serve someone or something, to take tangible steps towards helping the world, helping people in your environment, helping those in need. Because the Sun and Jupiter, there's a lot of focus on your 12th house. And 12th house is the place of spirituality, but also a place of isolation. So maybe you're committing and seeing results when it comes to serving other people who actually need your help. For those born with Taurus on the ascendant, this full moon is happening in your 5th house, and you can expect changes to the sector of romance, creativity, children, and fun. So with Virgo being your 5th house, right? Like when it comes to fun, maybe you're looking at the way you have fun. Maybe there's something that needs to be fixed, perfected. Maybe you've been, I don't know, gambling or partying a bit much, and now is the time to kind of like rein it in, to take stock of the way you have fun. And if you haven't had fun enough, this might be the time to go out and have a fun night. Of course, with, you know, Virgo, you're gonna have to stay grounded naturally. You can expect changes to the area of creativity. Maybe you're completing a creative project. Maybe you've collaborated with someone and now you're ready to go off on your own, or to put that work out there somewhere. Romantically, there's possibilities, right? Like serving your partner, giving them something back that is of value, because it's Virgo energy. Virgo likes to serve, speaking the language of your partner, maybe connecting with them on a deeper level, right? If your relationship has been dissatisfying, if you felt like they're not giving you what you need and vice versa, you feel like you cannot provide them with what they are looking for, there might be a separation at this time. And on a more lighter note, if that's what you're seeking, there's also a possibility of getting pregnant with this full moon in your 5th house. Getting pregnant, having a child, right? Because it's a completion of a cycle. And changes to the lives of your children are possible too. Like maybe they're starting a new school, or, you know, or dealing with some kind of like personal milestone situation. For Gemini risings, this full moon occurs in the 4th house. So you may expect to see changes to your home, family, and your sense of comfort and security. So home, land, property, right? Like changes there. Maybe you're completing a renovation project. Maybe you bought a home or you're selling a home. You can expect changes there. Even, they don't even have to be like major, right? Maybe you're just buying a painting or choosing to paint a wall a different color. Or you've had, I don't know, a ceiling leak in your apartment, and now like it's finally getting fixed. So you can expect that. It's a great time for Gemini risings to organize the home, to just like take stock and look at all of the papers you have and clothes that you have, shoes, etc. And just like, I'm just thinking of my space. And think of how you can like streamline it, right? And like how you can let go of old and useless things. You can find a lot of comfort there. And finally, changes in the familial dynamics are possible. Like if your parents have been going through a tough time, there might be a sense of release and ending there. A family member may move in with you, or changes, you know, like getting new family members is a possibility if you're like younger and your siblings are having a child. And another possibility is choosing to serve a family member, like doing something kind for them and connecting with them on a different level. For Cancer risings, this full moon is happening in your 3rd house. So you can expect changes in your immediate environment, your schedule, your technology, and your relationship with your siblings or neighbors. So, you know, sibling-neighbor relationship, look back at what was happening between you in September last year, and maybe there's a sense of like, if you've, I don't know, you started a relationship, maybe now you're finishing that relationship, or you're trying to communicate and figure out what conflict you've been having, and that's both for siblings and neighbors. There might be changes when it comes to your skills. So if you've been studying something, if you've been taking a class, this might be the time when you get a certificate, or the time where you have to take the exam. There might be like support from your partner or from significant relationships in your life, because this full moon is trining Pluto in the 7th house. But I think ultimately it's Virgo, it's the 3rd house. You want to focus on getting the best resources, getting the best technology, asking yourself what skills are you missing in order to get to the place that you're trying to go, right? With Jupiter being in your 9th house, there might be dreams about places you want to visit, the jobs that you want to have, relationships you want to have. And the full moon in the 3rd is saying, how can you let go of the unnecessary time wasters? How can you even let go of relationships with siblings or neighbors, or change those relationships in order to fit your goals better? And the same goes for like technology, communication. Maybe it's time for you to either get rid of things that are old or bring in some new things. Taking a trip is a possibility too, or, you know, starting to do work that requires you to travel more. For Leo risings, this full moon occurs in the 2nd house, so your finances get affected, and it's trining Pluto in the 6th. So there's a possibility of financial changes. Maybe you get a payment for the project that you started. Look at September 2021 when we had that new moon in Virgo. You may receive a return on investment. You may receive a payment from an old client, maybe a tax return, right? There's been, with Jupiter being in your 8th, I know for some Leo risings, there were even money coming from the partner. So you can definitely expect some kind of like financial bonus. Or, as always, 2nd house is not just money coming in, it's also money going out. So maybe you're spending money on something. If you started saving back in September, this might be the time when you spend this money. Just, you know, make sure that it's something you truly want, because Mercury is in its fall, so you may pursue some kind of vision, like you're investing money into a movie, but maybe this movie was made before. You just want to be like a little bit careful, especially when it comes to spending a big amount of money. Letting go of a job is a possibility here, or starting a job that you've been pursuing for a long time too. For Virgo rising, this full moon occurs in the 1st house, so you can expect the completion of a personal project that deals with your inner voice, right? Like if you've been writing a book, maybe now you finally put it out there and you start making money from it. You like present it and you tell people like, hey, this is my book. If you've been on a journey towards better health, better well-being, mental well-being, this might be the time when that journey kind of reaches a culmination point. You're definitely focusing on your self-care, on your physical, mental health, releasing bad habits is a possibility, and making changes to your appearance. Like, you know, if in September last year or around that time, you got an idea to, I don't know, color your hair and go through some kind of extreme process where you went from being very dark, having dark hair, went to being a blonde. Now you're finally completing that process. But anything, look at anything that deals with your personality, your brand, your body, your well-being, and you can expect changes in that part of your life. For Libra risings, this full moon occurs in the 12th house and it's trining Pluto in the 4th. So 12th house full moons can feel extremely overwhelming. I think especially with Virgo, having that, you know, fullness of light shining on the sector of your chart that is unseen, invisible, that holds all of your unconscious drives and fears and secrets. So you can expect to feel anxious for sure. You can expect to feel overwhelmed and maybe a little bit unsure about how to proceed, or, you know, like there's going to be anxiety, but also a need to go within, a need to step back, prioritize rest, spend some time alone, and maybe look very closely at, is your anxiety real or is it self-created, right? Are you truly fearful of something, or is it connected to your past? Is it connected to your early conditioning and something that you can maybe let go? A big theme with this full moon for Libra risings is like letting go of all the undoing patterns, unnecessary thoughts, you know, unhelpful actions, trying to be a friend for yourself, best friend, yeah, like personal best friend, letting go of a relationship that doesn't serve you, letting go of a family dynamic that doesn't serve you. Yes, maybe it's going to make you feel alone or, you know, a little bit unhappy for a bit, but it's all about making decisions that will help you in the future. And finally, 12th house also deals with foreign lands. So if you are connected to someone in another country, if you've been fearful of people in another country, like, you know, me personally being Russian with the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, there's definitely been, and I'm a Libra rising, that's why I'm talking about it. There's definitely been like a lot of fears and anxiety because I'm like half Russian, half Ukrainian. So I feel like this fight is just both of my people. I'm worried for both. So there might be a sense of some kind of like letting go or finding more peace with the situation with this full moon. You want to ground yourself for sure, because it's 12th house, and if you're feeling a lot of mental anxiety, do something for your physical well-being. Get a massage, take a bath, go for a walk, go hug a tree, do something that will help your mind calm down. We're going to the 11th house if you are a Scorpio rising. So you can expect changes in the sector of hopes and dreams, friendships, groups, and networks. So as far as hopes and dreams go, maybe you have been working on a project that deals with social media, that deals with your friends, kind of some kind of like group initiative that now reaches completion. If you've been planning to start a podcast or an Instagram page devoted to your business, maybe now is the time when you actually start it. Or if you have been investing a lot of energy into it, this could also be the time when you feel seen, recognized, and appreciated. In your friendships, changes are likely as well. Maybe you feel unhappy with a certain friendship and you have a conversation or choose to part ways. If you felt too focused on your personal life, right, with Jupiter being in your 5th house and, you know, Saturn being in your 4th, family matters, dealing with the home, being too kind of focused on those sectors of your chart, now might be the time when you connect with friends, when you choose to go out with them, and you remember what it's like to, you know, focus on something other than your home. A friend might be going through a tough time, and with the Virgo full moon energy, you can get a chance to give back to them and serve them somehow and help them in their tough situation. And 11th house dealing with like larger world, there might be a pull to volunteer as well, you know, and give back by donating money, time, or energy to the world around you. For Sag rising, this full moon occurs in your 10th house, so you can expect changes in the professional sector. Look back at what was happening 6 months ago around the time of September 6th. Have you started a new job? Have you started a new project? Have you started looking for a job? So you can expect changes in that part of your chart, right? Like finding a job, finishing the project, even letting go of a career that feels dissatisfying is quite likely. Take a moment to celebrate all you have accomplished, right? Like even if you're parting ways with your current job and you're trying to figure out what is it that you want, there's still a reason for celebration and recognition of all of your achievements. Of course, recognition can also be coming from other people, and you may get rewards in terms of a bonus, you know, financial, some kind of other financial pay raise or anything like that. And it could also be a great time, since the energy is Virgo, to get organized professionally. Maybe, you know, do you need to sign up for a class and polish your skills? Do you need to reach out to some people and build your network? Or even as simply as like, do you need to clear your desk from some clutter, right? Like what if you started a project 6 months ago and now all that's left of that project is just like a ton of paperwork covering your desk? You don't want that. For Cap risings, this full moon occurs in the 9th house. So you are completing a cycle of expansion, and that could be a mental expansion. Look at what you believed in September 2021. Your worldview may have changed, where maybe, you know, something happened in your life or something happened with your loved ones, your siblings, your friends, and your perspective has completely shifted. Focus on being a hero in your own story, right? As much as possible. Try not to get caught up by the fact, like caught in the fact that the world is very unpredictable and it's hard to know where we're going or what's next. Graduating or completing a class is a possibility. Publishing matters can see completion, right? If you're writing a book, or if you're ready to present your idea. Maybe you've started working on something 6 months ago, and now it's actually the moment of presenting it. If you have been dealing with any legal matters, right? Like dealing with visas or any other kind of like governmental, bureaucratic type of situations, this might be the time when that gets resolved, and likely in your favor, because this full moon is trining Pluto. It's not the easiest energy, right? Like having Pluto in general in your first house, going through a lot of internal transformations, is not the easiest. But I think you can definitely see the benefits, at the very least, in terms of your worldview and the knowledge that you have, because it's likely whatever you've been through, you have become more self-aware and more secure and confident. Changes to travel are also likely for Capricorn risings, because there's a completion in the sector of travel. So maybe you go on a trip, maybe you come back home, right? There might be even changes to your living situation where you're choosing to move to another country, likely. Or maybe you're dating someone who's of a different nationality. It's a possibility too. For Aqua risings, this full moon occurs in the 8th house, and it's trining Pluto in the 12th. So full moon in the 8th brings changes to your finances, but finances that you share with other people. So maybe even your partner's finances, right? It's likely that your partner is completing some kind of work project, or they're getting an inheritance, or they're getting a bonus, and then your finances get affected in the process. Or this might also be a change in like any money that you owe to someone. Maybe you're paying off a debt, maybe you're taking care of a loan, or you're getting a mortgage, you're getting approved for a mortgage. So you can expect, but once again, look back at September 2021 and see, have you applied for a mortgage? Have you like gotten in debt somehow? Or, you know, what was happening with your partner's money? Anything like that, you can expect changes in. And 8th house also deals with fears and things that we do not control and things that befall us. So a lot of times 8th house is connected to like, you know, death and sudden surprising events, which doesn't mean that you have to deal with any of those, but it's likely that you may choose to lean into therapy, and you can expect some kind of like breakthroughs in therapy, or you choose to devote money to therapy. Like maybe you're spending money on your mental health, or you're looking at the things that you're fearful of, and you're processing and transforming those painful experiences, especially with, you know, moon in the 8th trining Pluto in the 12th. It's all about self-sabotage, negative thinking, past experiences, and letting go of those. Finally, for Pisces rising, this full moon occurs in your 7th house, so you can expect changes in relationships and business partnerships, right? Like, have you been in a business relationship with someone that you've been trying to get out of unsuccessfully because maybe the other person is not helping you, you know, get past it or get out of it? You may see a change to that. This could be a breaking point. This could be the time when things actually complete. If you are in a relationship and you feel ready to move that relationship to the next phase, next cycle, you know, become more committed, this could be a possibility too. Maybe you move in with your partner. Maybe you, on a business level, maybe you start a business. Changes to the life of your partner are also likely. You know, maybe they start a new job. Maybe they commit to taking better care of themselves, and now they eat vegan food, and you also have to eat vegan food. So there's definitely a possibility of, like, you know, your partner carrying that Virgo analytical energy where they are being very focused on their well-being, and you're kind of going along for the ride. A great time, I think, and you may naturally have that tendency having 7th house in the sign of Virgo, but it's a great time to serve your partner and do something nice for them and kind of uplift and transform your relationship by giving that love to them that they will quite appreciate. So this is all I have, all 12 signs. I hope it resonated with you guys, and I hope you have a lovely full moon in Virgo. Talk to you very soon. Bye.